People aren't using Google search anymore to find information. Instead, they're using AI tools like ChatGPT to help them answer questions. If I was looking for the best insurance broker in Christchurch and I asked it, and your business doesn't come up, you've lost a potential client without even knowing it. I'm going to show you exactly how I optimized for AI in my own business that has directly resulted in me getting more leads. I'm Blake, an AI engineer that helps New Zealand businesses work smarter, not harder with AI. So let's jump on in. So how has search actually changed recently? So traditionally, I would go onto Google and I would search a question like the best plumber in Christchurch. I'd then get a huge list of different links and URLs to click on. But to be honest, I'm only going to be looking at the top 3. From there, I'd click onto them and I'd go and choose one of the 3 probably to go forward with. However, now with AI, instead of going on Google, I'm going onto sites like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, and I'm asking those sort of questions. Who should I hire for plumbing in Christchurch? Instead of me having to look through all of the different reference links on there, AI is summarizing all of that information and providing that back to me. Now, this is really key as well because Google have now their AI overviews. If I search questions inside of there, the very top thing is an AI overview, which is summarizing all of that information. So it's a big shift from manually going through different websites to pull information to AI doing that all for you. And that's why it's super important for businesses to be in the top of this AI recommendation. The term used for getting your website links higher up on Google searches was called SEO, which is search engine optimization. Now we have what is known as GEO, which is generative engine optimization. Basically, this is making your business visible and citable and AI generated answers from tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google AI, and more. Basically, how this works is AI pulls information from the web to answer questions. That can be from YouTube videos, websites, podcasts, anything that's out there. Your content needs to be structured in a way that AI can actually find that and understand what it means. And then the goal here is to get cited and trusted in answers when people are talking about topics of interest to you. A lot of people are going out there and saying that traditional SEO is completely dead and useless. I think this is just a load of crap, to be honest. There are still 16.4 billion Google searches every single day. 90% of web traffic is still the traditional way through just searching on a search engine rather than using AI. At the moment, in terms of the Google AI overview, only about 15% of queries actually trigger that to pop up. Even if all of the web traffic went purely onto AI chatbots, SEO is still very, very important. GEO is like the layer on top, and you can think of SEO as that baseline foundation. All of the principles in there actually do still help out AI optimization, but we need to do some additional things to appear in these generative AI chatbots more reliably. So what do you actually need to do for really good GEO? It's really important, as I said before, to have a baseline foundation of your SEO strategy. And there are plenty of YouTube videos or people out there that can help you with that are much more knowledgeable than me. In terms of GEO, I can break it down to 5 key points. Firstly, writing clear statements. 2, structuring your information for AI. 3, building presence everywhere. 4, adding JSON LD schemas, which is a little bit more technical, but we'll talk about that. And then 5, continuously monitoring your AI visibility. So for clear statements, it's really important to be a quotable reference. AI likes to pull out quotes of information and give it a source and reference. And so traditionally you'd go around saying, hey, best plumbing tips and have an article on your website about that. But instead we want to be really, really specific on what we're searching because this is getting into the mind of how someone may approach a conversation with a tool like ChatGPT. They're going to be a lot more detailed than their generic Google search. And so instead we could do something like, how much does a hot water cylinder replacement cost in Christchurch? Something very, very specific. So that means if AI gets a question like that, it goes and searches all of its sources. If you're one of the only sites that has that very specific question and header with an answer, you are much more likely to appear in the end result. So really, it's not just focusing on very overview broad topics, it's getting really niche down into how people may actually be asking questions to ChatGPT. So a really important step for both SEO and GEO is actually structuring your information in a really readable and user-friendly way. Traditionally, this is making sure it's user-friendly for readers going on, but now we've also got AI models that are scraping all the information. But even now we have agentic models which are acting as human browsers going through and seeing it the exact same way. So there's a lot to think about here. And so we really want it to be easy to read, which makes it easy to reference. A really good section that all businesses should have is a frequently asked questions, and that's where you can go into the detail on those clearer statements I mentioned earlier. But you want to be really careful in the back end to have the clear tags So when it's scraping it, it gets all the information, like if it's a header 1, header 2, header 3 information, or just some body text. And so you want to have it laid out properly so it can scrape what the titles are, what the subheadings, what the body of text says, so it can find the relevant information and reference that out in the answers. Now, this is something that I do for my business and personal brand. It's outside of GEO, it is really, really good just to build your presence up everywhere. The more sources you appear in, whether that's YouTube, news articles, podcasts, reviews on different websites, or social media content, the more information AI has about you, the more likely you are going to appear up in results. But also, it's pretty good for your own branding being in these multiple places. If AI is going out searching for information to answer a question, and they come across your website where you are talking about plumbing, but then your same name or business brand is then also on different podcasts, YouTube videos, and across social media, it all brings up that brand identity and presence to really be the expert in that niche topic, making it much more likely for you to appear in AI results. Now, having a JSON LD schema on your website has been the most important thing that I've seen a lot of people talk about in terms of getting GEO results. Basically, what this means behind the scenes is AI goes on, scrapes your website, it's got all this information out there. What this JSON schema actually does is breaks down all the core bits of information you need in a structured way so it can search a lot more efficiently, and therefore it's more likely for you to appear. It's completely invisible to anybody actually browsing your site. It sits completely behind the scenes, and it's only functional for AIs that are scraping the information. The best part about this is you can actually use AI models like Claude or ChatGPT to write this schema out for you if it has access to your code base, which makes it really super easy. You don't actually have to go through and set this up all yourself. The last key step here is to monitor your AI visibility. This is as simple as going into tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, or even Google Search and putting in key questions or searches that your customers would likely be doing. Are you actually coming up in the AI overview or ChatGPT response? If you're not and other competitors are, you'd want to go and click on their website and see what specific part the AI is referencing and how could you replicate that in your own way so it can become more targeted for those searches. One of the good things about it is it's quite easy to track. If someone clicks on your website URL from a tool like ChatGPT or Gemini, they have the UTM parameters on the very end, which allow your tools like Google Analytics or Vercel Analytics to actually see where that website traffic has come from, like these AI tools. As you're implementing these changes, there's obviously a delay while they get loaded, and you can see over time, hopefully, that it's actually progressing and you're getting more and more leads coming from these AI tools, which is what I'm seeing in my own business. Overall, to recap, SEO is not dead whatsoever. It is the foundation layer that is really, really important to appear in these generative AI responses. GEO is more like the cherry on top. It's really important to have your structured content for AI, being really clear statements, changing the way things are potentially worded, having clear tags on all the information, and even adding something like a JSON LD schema so it's easier for AI to scrape the correct information. And the last tip is to build presence everywhere. Put stuff out on social media, articles, LinkedIn, websites, YouTube, wherever it may be. The more sources you appear from, the more trustworthy you become in terms of these AI models, and the more likely you are to be in results. Thank you very much for watching. If you found that valuable, leave a like and subscribe. Otherwise, I help businesses work smarter, not harder with AI. So if you think it's worthwhile having a chat, check my link in the description below. Cheers.